What up, though? What up, though? Good morning. Welcome to the Pick Your Side podcast, where we just talk about real life and we just keep it real. This week episode is pretty simple. We talking about figuring it out. Everything is not gonna be perfect in your life. Everything is not gonna go your way. Nobody's here to save you. Nobody's gonna save you, but you have to figure it out to get to that next level and to get to where you want to be at in life. You have to learn how to figure things out, and that's what we're gonna talk about this week. So I was having a conversation with my wife the other day, and we both was just sitting here talking about how blessed we are, how far we came, and the things that we done accomplished so far in life, and the places we want to go. And we both agreed on something. People just think that we blessed. Somebody just handed us something. Somebody just gave us something. But the truth is, we came up here with nothing. We ain't have no master plan. She came up here with what she had, and I came up here with what I had. Dog, when I first came to school, I only had a TV, one bag of clothes, and a box that I kept my pictures and things that I wanted at school. And I ain't have nothing. I had to figure it out. So when we was in orientation and everybody was figuring out where the hangout spots at and everything, I was going from cafeteria to cafeteria, putting in applications. I went to the Starbucks, I went to the KUC, everything up at MTSU you can think about, and put in an application and told them I need to be able to start a job by day one. Before I left the campus, I had already figured out my job situation, and they told me that I could start at the beginning of the year. They just needed me to ride up here before the school start to do all the background information and everything, which was cool because I know I didn't have any scholarships coming up here. I had the cheapest meal plan, which only gave me 26 meals the whole year, and I didn't want to put the extra pressure on my parents or just my family to support me while I was at school. So I needed to get things in line to make sure I was going to be able to survive. Throughout that year, we living on the campus. I didn't know what a dry campus was. So we drinking, we posting pictures with bottles on there. I ended up getting kicked off of the college. Well, I ended up getting kicked out of the dorms. They put me out the dorms, but since it was so close to the end of the year, they told us that we can stay, but next year we couldn't live on campus. And that was cool because I was ready to get off campus anyway. I needed my own room. But in the process of that, I had to figure out, I know I ain't got no car. I know I'm not finna be able to get a car through the summer. So what I'm gonna do about that? We started looking at apartments. There was a couple of cool apartments that I wanted to go to where everybody was staying that I knew, but it wasn't nowhere, it was no jobs nearby. So I ended up picking my apartment because one, they had a shuttle and I can get to and back from school. And then they had a bunch of restaurants and Walmart right across the street where I can walk. So I picked that apartment so that I know I can have a job. I applied for it, I got the job, I got the apartment, and that's what I'm talking about when I say you gotta figure it out. I didn't have a bunch of money. I didn't have nobody that was sending me money every week. I had to take care of responsibilities. I like to do things. So even with my schedule, when I did have a 6 to 9 class and the shuttle was done running, I used to either have to walk home or I'd be creative. I hit somebody up, hey, you trying to drink? They'd be like, cool. I stayed with a bottle or two, come pick me up from school, and that's the way I figured it out. We ain't had Uber. Uber was just starting, so nobody was really using it. And then I was broke. I ain't had no $40, $50 I can spend to get to and back from campus every day. And here's the crazy thing about it. What a lot of people don't tell you. Once you figure one thing out, it's going to be something else that you have to figure out. Or once you get to a certain level, it's going to be another level that you have to go to, and you're going to have to figure that out as well. So life isn't about, oh, I just figured this out. Nah, I can coast. Nah, it's something that you're going to consistently have to do. You have to do it again and again. So let's fast forward to the last 18 months of our life. We've been figuring it out financially month to month. I remember my wife was on the phone with her brother. They was having a conversation about jobs and careers. And she came to me. I was air hustling, so I already knew what she was going to come back and tell me. That she wanted to go to school for a degree, which is going to bring the family more money. And I was all for it. I was like, cool. Let's figure out what we need to do and how we going to make this work. We got 2 kids that's in daycare. I work from home, so we can figure it out. So with that being said, I prayed to God and asked God, send me a sign of what I need to do to make this as least stressful for my wife as possible. So the next day after I prayed and asked God for that sign, my very next 3 Uber passengers was in the same career field that my wife is going after. And I asked them, what's one way I can make her life less stressful? They all said if she didn't have to work, that'd be a blessing. So I prayed to God again. You sure? So we had a couple of dollars saved up, but we ain't have near as much as we needed to save up. But we're going to figure it out. Told my wife to quit. She hesitated at first, but she quit. And I told her, you handle school and I'm going to handle the finances. So that means last year alone, I had to work 363 days. Not because I wanted to or I'm just this super hustler, but man, throughout the journey at the blow, one of the craziest things happened. My car that I was driving around went out. So now we down to one car. Remember, she got to go to school. I got 2 kids. They was going to daycare on the other side of the town and everything. So one car was a little inconvenient, but what I'm going to do, quit. I told her she can go to school, get this degree. She hold on to her part. So it's up to me to figure it out to do what I need to do. So I just started Ubering a little bit more, and I was working 70 hours a week. I worked 363 days last year. I took off Christmas and one more day in December sometime to spend time with my family. And I'm not saying that I'm working both jobs. One day it'd be Uber, one day it'd be my 9 to 5, and some days it'd be both of them. The most I worked was 100 hours a week, but we figured it out financially, and we got through the year. I'm talking about all 4 of my tires popped leaving out the Nissan one day. I had to figure it out. Prayed to God about it. He answered the prayer. He helped us get through the year. So even though we coming out this season in our life, we gonna have to figure out the next phase of our life. Now that we're gonna be making income where we not in the red every month, now we gotta figure out how we gonna make sure we never be in that position that we was in these last 18 months. And we're gonna do that by saving. We're gonna do that by investing and all that. So that's something else that we're gonna have to figure out because nobody's giving us the blueprint. We're gonna use our tools and our resources for help, but that's the next thing that we have to figure out. A lot of people struggle with figuring things out because of these 5 reasons. Number 1, they don't feel like they're strong enough to survive this hard season like they did the other seasons in their life. And I'm here to tell you, you got everything that you need to get through this as well, just like you did in the past. Number 2, they don't want to sacrifice anything. They want to keep living the same lifestyle and expecting something different, so they don't want to sacrifice anything. Number 3, they rely on people too much. They think it's somebody else's job to figure it out for them, or they looking for somebody to come save them. Number 4, they just don't want to get uncomfortable. They want to stay in the same position they in right now, but get different results. And the last one, and the most important one, is they want everything to be perfect. They got to have the way they want it before they can get started. And when you keep on waiting on that, you're never going to get started. All right, now I'm finna give you 5 steps that we can use to get started. All right, number 1 is take ownership. Remember, don't nobody owe you nothing. Not even your mama, not even your daddy. Number 2, work with what you have. Number 3, think strategically and not emotionally. Number 4, increase your effort when it comes to what you want to go after. So if you don't have enough income, you got to work a little harder to get the money that you need. And number 5, pray. Look, works. Number 5, pray. But you also got to move your feet. Faith without works is dead. So you can pray all you want, but if you ain't working, you're not going to get there. But if you do these 5 things, you're going to start figuring things out in your life as well. You know how I end every show. I need you to pick your side. Are you going to just keep waiting on everything to be perfect, or are you waiting on somebody to come save your life? Be real with me. You ain't got to lie to me. Or you going to do what you need to do and figure it out. Start with what you have and just keep getting better and better and figuring it out along your journey. Let me be real with you. With this social media, I don't know what I'm doing. I should have started this 3 years ago. But I was scared. I was uncomfortable. I didn't know how people was going to receive it. And I was just in my way. I just wanted everything to be perfect, from the camera to the microphone to the setup. And I don't even have all that right now. But I told myself at the beginning of the year, I'm going to figure it out as I go. I'd rather fail at this year than to live another year like wishing I would have been consistent and put out this information. So I challenge you, whatever you dreaming about or whatever you're going after, to figure it out on the journey. Start with what you have. Remember, you got everything you need inside of you already to be successful, but just put in that work. But have a good day. Be blessed.